guys, welcome back to April After Dark. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day, happy day to be grateful for all of the wonderful things in your life. This video is coming a little bit late, but it's better now than never. So I am joined by my little horror children to give you a list of horror Thanksgiving films. Now, some of these movies I have made a tradition of watching every year, and I think almost every year I add another one to the list. So I watch different ones that are new or ones that I've never heard of before. So this list will not be for everybody, but I'm trying to include something that everybody might like that loves horror movies. Especially since Thanksgiving seems to be an overlooked holiday as far as having horror movies centered around it. A lot of the horror films that have come out, and some of the ones I'm going to mention, they don't really have a lot to do with the holiday. They are just happening around the time of Thanksgiving, so they're the ones that if you are going to categorize holiday horror, it'd probably fall into Thanksgiving horror because it just happens to be around that holiday but doesn't have a ton to do with the actual holiday. So without further ado, let's get into a creepy list of Thanksgiving horror films. In 1974, Terry commits a murder and pins it on his twin brother Todd. 10 years later, Todd escapes from a mental institution on the same day as Terry's murderous instincts resurface. So this is all basically happening on Thanksgiving. If you like 80s slashers and campy horror films, then you'll like this. It's something that I watch every Thanksgiving, or I should say that we watch every Thanksgiving, either the day before or day of Thanksgiving. And this movie it doesn't really have a lot to do with the holiday, but it is on Thanksgiving, and there is a very classic line that one of the twins says, where he has blood all over him, and he says, "That's not cranberry sauce." So it's kind of, I don't know, like I said, campy, fun 80s slasher flick. So I would definitely add it to your list of Thanksgiving horror films. Next up is probably my favorite Thanksgiving horror film, and that's mostly because it really does truly center itself around the holiday of Thanksgiving. And if you have Hulu, it is on Hulu in the, I want to say it's called Into the Dark series that they did for a couple of years, where they were releasing an episode or a movie every month. And generally it had something to do with whatever holiday was happening at that time. And this movie is called Pilgrim. And this one I love it. It's funny in the right moments. It looks like this. So Pilgrim. And this movie, one of the taglines says, "This Thanksgiving, survival is a blessing." Is my absolute favorite one, and that is mostly because it really does steep itself into the origins and the dark history of this holiday. Got a blended family, and the mother is a rich suburban housewife, and she thinks that she's going to solve all the problems that are currently going on with her family by hiring a group of reenactors to come and stay at their house and reenact the very first Thanksgiving. So, you know, no phones, taking the phones away, changing the light bulbs out and putting candles up, and going into the true beginnings of the very first Thanksgiving. And when this group comes over, it just, it doesn't turn out the way that she's hoping it's going to turn out. And I don't want to say much more than that. And a really interesting fact is I liked the score. I always pay attention to the score of a lot of horror films, and I loved this one. And it turns out the guy that did the score for this is Douglas Pipes, and he also did the score for Trick or Treat and Krampus. So if you watch the end credits of it, it's just great. It's very, I mean, this is the Thanksgiving horror film that I've always been wanting. It's truly about Thanksgiving and the traditions, the first Thanksgiving, and has lots of creepy, puritanical, maniacal behavior in it. So I highly recommend it. It is on Hulu. Some people say it's a slow burn. For me, it wasn't, but it's a slow burn that goes into a complete crazy final act, and I can't say enough good things about this one. The next horror Thanksgiving film I will mention is not one of my favorites, but it's definitely, you know, about Thanksgiving. It is called Thanksgiving, and it is about a killer turkey that is haunting these people on Thanksgiving. So it is just as silly as it sounds. So you see, it is very cheesy, very, it's definitely a B movie, maybe even less than that as far as the production of it, but it is great for people that, you know, want something kind of silly and goofy to watch. There's nothing scary about any of it. It's just more ridiculous, funny, and disgusting. It's one that I watched once and I don't think I ever need to watch it again. It's just not my cup of tea. And apparently they did not make a sequel to it, but they made a Thanksgiving 3. So if you enjoy the first one, or if you just want to watch both of those, I think they are available to watch for free on Tubi. The next Thanksgiving horror film that I will mention is called, and I just watched this year, believe it or not, it's called Christy. And this came out in 2014, and this one you can watch on Amazon Prime or Tubi. I think if you watch it on Amazon Prime, then you have to watch ads, but there's not a ton of them throughout the film. This is one that is about a girl that is in college, decides to stay on campus for Thanksgiving, and apparently she's the only one that's staying. Everybody else has gone home to visit their families, and she stays there. And it's one of the so there's this group of weird people, stalkers, that are going around killing. They're targeting her for some reason. That reason is revealed towards the end of the movie. It was kind of fun. It was interesting. It was not what I was expecting. And it's one of the ones that I was talking about, one of the movies that is not really about Thanksgiving. It just happens to be taking place during Thanksgiving. The next one I will mention is, I just watched this. I watched two of these that I'm going to mention last night. The first one is one that it's called The Last Thanksgiving. What does it say? After this year, there can't be another. So this is a B film. It came out 2020, and I actually received this last year in a horror pack. It's I think this one is, let's see, was it one of the special editions? Yeah, this is one of the horror pack special editions. And I believe I got this last year after November, after Thanksgiving, so I kind of have saved it to watch until this year. So I watched it last night, and first off, it's about a family of cannibals that love Thanksgiving, and they decide to terrorize people that are working on Thanksgiving at this restaurant. And it's very cheesy, but it does not slack on the gore at all. It almost looks like something that could have been made in the 80s because of the practical effects and because of the budget. But to be honest with you, I actually enjoyed it. Toby wasn't really a fan of it. He just did not like it. But I'll probably put this on my list to watch every year. But it's this family of cannibals. They try to go after people that are not celebrating Thanksgiving. So the reason that these people are working is beyond them. So they decide to target them, and you don't see any real cannibalistic anything, but it's kind of funny, it's interesting, and there's a killer that has like a pilgrim costume on and a pilgrim looking mask, and there's a story in it that kind of goes into history of Thanksgiving. So I really appreciate movies like this and Pilgrim that have actually something to do with the holiday, as opposed to just happening to be around Thanksgiving when the movie is taking place. So this won't be for everybody. Like I said, Toby did not enjoy this, but it's a good B slasher flick, and I could appreciate where they were going with all of this, and I think if they'd had a better budget, I really would love to have seen this done with a higher budget. And you know, I think this actually has potential to be redone with a better budget. And then the last one I will mention that I just watched also last night is also from the Into the Dark series on Hulu, and this one came out in 2018, and it is called Flesh and Blood. This one has Dermot Mulroney in it, and he plays, it's about a father and daughter a year after the death of his wife, her mother. And because of that, the daughter is extremely agoraphobic, which she can't go outside. She has trouble even getting a package off the front door without having a major panic attack. And she starts to wonder if her father is the one that killed her mother. So it's an interesting story, and it's one of the ones that doesn't really have a lot to do with Thanksgiving. There's some, you know, there's a turkey and there's pie, and the fact that it's all taking place in November, and then, you know, she's supposed to be doing something with the turkey, like baking the turkey and all that, but she's too busy worried about trying to find out if her dad is the killer of her mom and possibly other women in the local area. So it's actually, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a great thriller, but it's also one of the ones, I almost could have seen this being a better, like, more of a Father's Day film, since it's got so much to do with father-daughter. And I think the acting was really, really good in it. But yes, it's one of the ones that doesn't really have anything to do with Thanksgiving. It could have been during any other holiday, but if you want to watch themed movies that are on Thanksgiving or happen to be happening during Thanksgiving, it's one of the ones. So if you guys have heard of any other films that are about Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving horror film, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you've seen any of these films and what you think of them if you have. Alright guys, I hope that you have a wonderful turkey day, Thanksgiving, and don't let anybody kill you at dinner. Have a very creepy night. Bye!